Welcome to this very special edition of The Author's Voice with KAJ, a show where we explore the stories behind the stories. Here we dive into the worlds created by authors, discover their inspirations, and ensure that you, our audience, walk away enriched and inspired. And today we have with us Sonny Moyers. He's an author, realtor, human behavior theorist. Uh, he's the president of the Renaissance Group, a real estate brokerage, consulting, and publishing company in the DFW area. Award winning agent. He has achieved great success in the real estate industry in his area. Welcome to the show, Sonny.
Well, thank you very much. I'm very pleased to be here, AJ.
You're welcome. Welcome to the show. Welcome to India in this online form. And I'm sure not just in India, but a lot of people across the globe, a lot of people in the real estate industry will benefit from what we are going to talk right now. We'll talk about your book. We'll talk about the architecture of the real estate practice. So, straightway, first to understand, let's dive into the story behind the story that I can tell us a bit about, why this book. Tell us a bit about that.
Well, I've always wanted to write a book, but I was always busy with my career and family and life and never got around to it. And I finally had the opportunity and the time to do it. And I wanted to write a book that would be different than the typical real estate book that you might see in the marketplace. I wanted a book that was a textbook, not a story about how great the author is. I wanted a book that would be beneficial to the reader. And I wanted a book that was not, AJ, when you get started in writing a book, a lot of people tell you to write the book. A lot of advice is to write the book at an eighth grade level, eighth grade educational level. Here in the US, that's middle school. And I did not want to write a book like that. I didn't want to write a book that was so simple. So I wanted to write a book that was more complex and was more targeted toward an intellectual person who really wanted to deeply understand the psychology and the communication strategies that are behind the success in real estate. I wanted someone who wanted to really examine the business model, how to create a business model that will allow you to be successful and happy. In our prior discussion, we were talking about happiness. And one of the things that I wanted to do was do a project that I would be proud of and I would be happy with. And that's what led me to write the book. I wanted mainly to benefit the person who read it with a deep knowledge and understanding of how to construct and build a real estate practice, whether it be residential or commercial or an investment approach. And that's why I wrote the book. So I'm obviously older than you are. And in my latter years, when I didn't have to work quite as much, I had achieved a certain level of success. I guess you would say, as Maslow's theory would say, actualization, self-actualization. One of my goals was to create a book that would be significant in someone's career paths. That's what I wanted to do. So I started writing the book. It took me 2 years to write the book based upon 20 years of lecturing and teaching all over the country and all over the world. I've taught in 20 different countries. My marketing concepts and theories and management theories and communications theories are covered deeply in the book. I will say one thing, the book is not written for a short read. It is not a one-night book or a two-night book. The people who reviewed the book and wrote about it are all very highly successful business people. And they all said to me, Sonny, this is not the typical easy read book that you read in 2 days and you're done with it. It's a serious book. So that's how I started.
Absolutely. It's a serious book, and that's how you started. Let's break down the way you have put it at different situations. You call this book a comprehensive guide akin to a masterclass for aspiring and experienced real estate professionals. Tell us a bit about this aspect. Then we'll come to how others also can learn from this book.
Yeah, I think the what I wanted to do was take, there's a lot of talk in today's world about culture in organizations. what creates a winning culture in football or soccer, American football or soccer. There's a lot of talk about how do you create a culture in a team, in an organization. And the book really takes the keystone concepts that are the foundation of building a successful practice, much like a great foundation is the key to building a wonderful office building or a beautiful home. And so the keystone concepts are fundamental concepts that if a person follows these fundamental concepts through years and through challenges and economies, they will be successful because the keystone concepts create a culture. And that culture in my real estate firm was, first of all, and probably most importantly, serve the client first. Always put the client first. Be a person who is not only highly knowledgeable and highly competent, through I talk about competency, demonstrating competency, demonstrating proficiency. I talk about these keystone concepts that allow a person to form an organization, whether it be commercial or residential or some other area of real estate, that because there's lots of areas in real estate, and form that company that they will be successful over time if they adhere to those fundamental keystone concepts. Okay. And then I took that and I said, all right, now that I've covered the foundation with you, let's talk about how do you build the practice? How do you operate the practice? So the book goes into operational concerns, including marketing, including management style, client management, very importantly discussed in the book. And then I take them to a fundamental understanding of how to build a business model. And if you think about it, if you could define a business model, it's a picture of what you want to create. And the business, the picture is enough developed that you can understand what it is. Okay, meaning if you examined a landscape and you said, I'm going to paint this landscape, I wanted to create something. You need to have a initial thought process that describes in enough detail that you know how to move forward, and that's what the business model does. In my business model, I take the commercial real estate sector, and particularly tenant representation in large buildings. I take that sector. I take the residential real estate sector, more of the luxury home rather than the starter home. And I take the consulting arena, specifically consulting in the areas of real estate challenges, leases, commercial leases. And those became the three primary profit centers of the company that I was trying to build. And we spoke earlier about success and career and happiness. When I did this, when I created this model, AJ, I created a model of something that I wanted to do in serving people. And I wanted it not to be just an average organization. I wanted it to have a culture of a superior organization delivering superior value and benefit to the client, first and foremost. And hopefully, if I did a great job of that, I would also be profitable. Okay. So I didn't start out my business model with a profit goal, profit situation. I started out with what is it that I want to do? How do I want to do it? And who do I want to work with? And one of the fundamental hallmarks of my business was that I didn't want to work with people that didn't appreciate or like me. And I didn't want to work with people that I didn't appreciate or like them. I wanted to have a relationship with people that was based upon a friendship and a genuine desire to serve. Okay. And so my business model started out in a very early creative form that I had a picture of what I wanted to do. And then I filled in the blank. Because once you have a very good business model, it's easy to write a business plan. If you don't have a good business model, you really can't write a business plan, and you can't write a marketing plan. And if you remember, from my perspective, the marketing plan is simply a very large part of the business plan. So when I started this, I took the book through the process of foundation, building the structure, and then creating the mission and goals of what you hope to achieve. And I include that sample business model in a chapter in my book, which is almost no one does that. In fact, people said to me, Sonny, are you sure you want to share your business model with all your competitors? Well, I'm at a point in my life where I don't mind doing that, okay? Because I want people to be successful. So the book takes you through the foundation, how to create a real estate business. It takes you through the structure, how do you operate a real estate business? And then it takes you to how do you create and write a business model that will be the art picture of what you want to achieve and be happiness and in career. And I just happen to be very fortunate that career took me to very good success, very successful and very happy. And I was able to do something I love doing for most of my life.
Absolutely, absolutely, Sunny. So, in this book, you have, as you say, numerous exciting illustrations, including an amazing dinosaur working at a desk, and an interesting story about realtors being called
I
dinosaurs.
love that story.
What is the dinosaur doing there, and why are realtors? Why are they called dinosaurs?
Well, it's a very different story because it really has messages that are not what you think. I went to a conference. I'll give the background first. I went to a conference where there were a number of real estate agents there, and there was a technology speakers who were telling us about what we needed to do in technology as an industry, as real estate owners, operators, etc. And in this meeting, they essentially called us all dinosaurs. Okay, told us we were all out of date, we were out of touch. It was quite, I would say, quite negative or aggressive negative approach to the seminar. But I think what they were doing was trying to scare us. In fact, they said in this seminar that in 10 years, none of us would be in business unless we changed, because technology was going to become so important, and that if we didn't understand technology, we weren't going to be successful in real estate. Okay. And there were a lot of people with very serious and unhappy looks on their faces because a very large piece of the real estate audience was not necessarily technology savvy. So this was a scary thing to think about. As we were leaving that meeting, it was in a very fancy hotel in a beautiful ballroom, and it was quite impressive, except that the message was quite down. And as we were leaving there, I turned to my wife, Judy, who was my partner in real estate, and I said, well, we learned a great deal today, didn't we? And she looked back at me with kind of a perplexed look about, well, what did we learn? Except that we're all going to dinosaurs and we're all going to die, you know? And I said, well, we learned what things we need to do, but more importantly, we learned about the things we don't need to do, we don't want to do, okay? And one of those things was to chase technology for technology's purpose. And this is some of the important message in the book. Yes, it's important to choose technology, but the real secret to success in real estate is people. It's not being, so the technologies that they talked about were how to improve efficiency. Technology drives very closely to the concept of improved efficiencies, right? Faster, quicker, etc. And a lot of those concepts took you further away from the client because it dealt with electronic communications. It dealt with messaging, voicemail, texting, and email. It didn't deal with personal contact and relationships. And so what I said to my wife, Judy, was we're going to go back and we're going to revise our business plan. And we're going to adopt technologies that bring us closer to our client, not further away. We're going to do basically the opposite of what they said. They wanted us to contact more people more frequently with less personal involvement. And I said, we're going to go back and we're going to contact a group of people that we have identified as highly targeted people. We're going to contact them more frequently with more personal contact, with more personal involvement and more commitment to them. And from that meeting, we went back and we made modifications and adjustments to our plan that was already very people driven. It was very client centered. We focused more on client management. We focused more on family unit and that meant family as a business or as an individual. And for the next 10 years, we experienced record success in our business and the highest profits we'd ever achieved. And we weren't chasing profits. We were chasing client satisfaction. We were chasing building relationships with people and serving and providing great benefit and value to clients. And that's why we were successful. And so while we still did some of the technologies, we still certainly used messaging. We certainly used email. We certainly used some of the technologies, including enhanced and using more of our client development systems, client relationship management programs, things of that nature. But we did it in the purpose of more personal contact. Just like you and I are talking now, from very far apart from each other, I'm getting to know you much, much better. That's how we treated our clients. We needed to know them better, understand their needs better, understand where they were in their life path, where they were and what they wanted to achieve and be successful in. So give you a quick example, a very simple example. One of our clients said that they'd always wanted to have an art studio. They always wanted to have a place in their home where they could go away and just work on their art. This happened to be painting, landscapes and things of that nature. And several years after we started working with them, I called them back and I said, you mentioned to me several years ago that one of your goals was to have an art studio in your home. I ran across a home the other day that had done that. And I thought maybe you would like to see this home. And they said, yes, I would love to see it. Now, they loved their house they were in. They loved the home they had created. But he had a need and a goal of doing something that we would call self-actualized, okay? And so when I showed him that property with this art studio that was designed, it had the right flooring, it had the right setup, the views, everything he wanted to be in an art studio that he needed, it felt like he wanted. And he sold his current home and bought that home and became his primary goal in life was to paint. He had already achieved a certain level of financial success, but he wasn't completely whole. He wasn't completely happy. So what I would say to the audience is, if you choose a career path that's not going to make you happy, no matter how much money you make, you'll never be satisfied. You have to choose a career path. And when you choose to go into real estate, you have to go into it with the perspective, in my opinion, of serving and helping people. And as a result, you don't just sell real estate or sell houses. You help people solve problems. And one of those problems is, how do I reach a stage of self-actualization, achievement, and fulfillment that makes me happy?
Absolutely. Absolutely, Sonny. Well explained. But this dinosaur thing, even though it is extinct, this topic, this word is not going to go away or become extinct. In every sphere of our life, one can become or one is becoming a dinosaur. Even in real estate, who will become extinct like a dinosaur? Who will be there to stay? How do you see that? How have you dealt it in your book?
I think that the people, okay, there are a lot of people who are technology-based people who go into real estate. And they think that being number one on Google search will be the success that they would get. Or they believe that being more efficient will make them more successful. But they don't connect with the client. And as a result, they don't form that trust and confidence relationship. And that trust and confidence relationship is the glue that keeps a client working with you for 20 years. So when you have clients that, if you think of it as a transaction, so the people who will fail are the people who believe that they're selling homes or doing leases, or they think it's a technology business and they forget the human element. That's the people who won't make it in real estate. Because just think of this. There's a social conditioning. Have you heard that term before? Social conditioning is where the society in general believes that something exists. Now, let's just examine that for just a brief moment. And AJ, if I go too long, please tell
Yes.
me.
No, carry on, Sonny.
Right.
Don't worry.
Social conditioning is basically that most people are conditioned that I need to find a home. Let's just use a home as an example. It could be an office, it could be virtually anything, an investment property. But let's just say it's a home. I need to find a home to move my family into. So I need a realtor to help me. So I'm going to go find a realtor, okay, or a real estate agent. And I'm going to get that person to help me find that home. And they're going to show me homes. And then they're going to tell me why it's good or bad. And then we're going to negotiate a contract. And then we're going to go to closing. And then we're going to have a party and celebrate. And then they're going to go away. That's a needs-based, transaction-oriented conditioning. Find it, explain it, contract for it, close it, you're done. Most people think that a real estate agent does that. They reach an ending point, and that is the closing or the celebration. Real estate is really not that. It's reaching that end point and giving the client a reason to continue to want and need you. And that is the secret. I call assuring satisfaction, the bridge step to the next sale. Okay. So when you reach the end of that social conditioning point, you have to maintain the relationship so that the relationship survives closing. And that concept that the relationship survives closing is covered a great deal in my book, because the book itself talks about how do you build relationships. And that's why the book, The Psychology and Art of the Real Estate Profession. It's not just about selling homes. It's about how do you build relationships. So to put it in summary, if you are a real estate agent that focuses on transactions, I'm going to sell a home today. I'm going to do a lease today. Okay. And you don't focus on the people, the relationship, and how it could survive closing, you will have a series of transactions that result in a commission that will not continue over years. But if you do with what I'm talking about in the book, the people that you work with will appreciate you, will want you to be a part of their lives for a period of time. And you'll do not only transactions with them, you'll do transactions with their family, you'll do transactions with their sphere of influence. You'll be referred by them because they want their clients and friends and family to experience the same benefit and value that you gave them. And when you make your entire business model of real estate focused on providing benefit and value, and you deliver that promise, you have what we would call raving fans. And there's a very interesting book called Raving Fans by Ken Blanchard. It's a very good, simple book, but it's a great book, okay? It's an easy read. It's one night, okay? But creating raving fans, creating people who say, if I want anyone in my sphere of influence, anybody in my family is going to do something in real estate, I want them to choose Sonny, because I want them to benefit and get the value of having the relationship with Sonny that I had. Okay. That's the secret to success. So those people, the dinosaurs. And by the way, there's 1,500,000+ real estate agents in the United States. A very high percentage are unsuccessful. A very high percentage do 1 or 2 transactions per year. A very high percentage. To be in the top echelon of real estate, you do a lot of transactions, but you do transactions frequently with people you've done work with before. That's the relationship. People who refer you to other people. People who tell their friends, you've got to use my realtor Sonny. You've got to use him. Here's what he did for me. That's success in real estate. So there's a lot of people who fail in real estate, usually in the first 2 to 3 years, a very high percentage. And you have a lot of people who leave real estate, but keep their license so that if they buy a home themselves, they can benefit. Okay. But that's why there's 3 million real estate agents in the United States, but there's only 1,500,000+ that are affiliated with the largest association, the National Association of Realtors, which allows you to be called a realtor. Okay. Now, AJ, if you do the math for me, please. If you have 320 million people in the United States and you have 3 million real estate agents, how many people in the United States is that per agent? Not very many. And in fact, if you look at it, most of those 320 million people, not all of them are looking to buy a home or real estate. Not all of them have the money to buy a home or real estate. So you're probably talking about, of the population of the United States, you're probably talking 150, maybe 170 million people are actually buyers or sellers in real estate. Well, then you divide that number by 1 million or 3 million realtors, you see that's a very small population. So it's a very competitive field and very difficult. And if you don't have the advantage of knowing how to build your real estate practice, you're likely to fail. Technology is a piece of it. Absolutely. But those people who claim that technology is going to help you be successful, and that's the answer, they're wrong. People, having a connection with people is the reason you're successful. And that's what the book's about. Communications, the psychology of relationships, the fundamental concepts of self-disclosure, reciprocity, major chapter in the book. Okay. And then, of course, I give the reader a little help. I have over 5,000 words of scripts in the book. How do you explain this to a client? How do you present to a client that the difference between you and other people? I talk about differentiation consistently throughout the book. And the book now, I know that having a book available in all over the world is very difficult. So I now have it available in EPUB on my website. It's under $20. It's under $20 US. So you can get the book and start today, putting together your business model. But I will tell you, it takes several weeks, if not months, to read. It's a serious book.
It's a serious book. Can you hold the book for our audience, Sonny?
It's a hardback. It's 300 pages. It is. Yes. It has links inside the book. It's an interactive book. It has links inside the book that when you click it, when you put your phone over your QR code, it will take you to my channel on YouTube and allow you to see a video. So, for example, if you're reading about differentiation and you hover over that note in the book, it'll take you to me talking about differentiation. Plus, it's got the 5,000 words in scripts, and it's a 40-chapter book, and it ends, the payoff chapter is a sample business model. Now, I don't want readers or viewers to copy the model. I want them to use the model as a inspirational idea how to create a business model. And then once they write and they create their business model, then they have a perfect picture, or not perfect, but a very good picture of what they want to do. And that allows them to write the business plan. And the business plan would include the marketing plan. And that plan would include, what is my mission statement? What is my public mission statement? And what is my private mission statement? What are my financial objectives? What are my environmental objectives? And outdoor environmental, I'm talking about the environment I want to create the culture that I want in this organization. And then you have primary business strategies, and then you have sub-strategies, and then you have tactical plans. And tactical plans is where the rubber meets the road. That's where you spend money. Most people go into business and start spending money on tactical plans before they know what they're spending it for. And that's what the business model and what all of this other business planning process is about. And I've written big, very large companies. I've written marketing plans and business plans for very large companies. So it's modeled along some of those same concepts.
Wonderful, wonderful, Sonny. Would you want to read a small a short excerpt from the book, if or remember any particular thing
Sure.
that you want the readers to talk about?
Yeah. Hang on 1 second. Let me get to the right chapter here.
Right. Sure.
Okay, I'm going to go to page 218 of the book. This is called Structural Integrity, the Client Hierarchy. Okay? And you all know what a hierarchy is. It's a natural division of pieces, people, elements. The hierarchy is, for example, my very absolute best clients might be called P1 clients, priority one clients. The next level of clients might be called P2 clients. So the hierarchy is P1, P2, P3, P4. This talks about hierarchies in business. And basically it says in the real estate practice, a hierarchy is a system that ranks individuals or groups based on their status, authority, or value to the organization. Now, that's a serious sentence because it says it ranks individuals, groups, could be a company, could be a part of a company, like a finance department within a large corporation, on their status. They could be image makers. They could be very important people, like a mayor of a city or a president of a large corporation. Authority, what their power structure is, and their value to the organization. Okay, so in a hierarchy in real estate, it starts out with you want to work with anyone who wants to buy or sell a home or do a lease or invest in properties. Okay, but over time, you find that certain people, certain organizations rise to the top of that hierarchy. They become the most important people. And contrary to what most people believe and think, real estate is not selling a whole bunch of stuff to a whole bunch of different people. It's actually being successful in real estate is helping people through multiple transactions with themselves, their families, their sphere of influence over time. So the hierarchy basically says, I'm going to spend a significant portion of my time on the P1 and P2 people or organizations or groups that will provide me the highest revenue and at the least expense over time. And that's the secret to why a person can do business with someone and not just receive a $25,000 or $30,000 commission, but receive a stream of $2 million over 20 years. And I'll cover that in the book. So a hierarchy, that's what this chapter talks about, hierarchies. Another chapter goes into client management. How am I going to manage these people? Finding connectors. So let's talk about, you find somebody who's not only a prospect for real estate, but is a connector, someone who knows everyone. AJ, they collect people like some people collect antiques. They have more friends. They know more people. And you all know this someone because you can usually recognize a connector because they name drop endlessly. And they'll tell you 5 or 10 people that you've heard of or know of, and they'll drop their name early because they know everybody. Okay. Well, the secret of success in most business ventures is finding the connectors because they know everybody. And you can't reach everybody, no matter how much money you spend, no matter how hard you try. So it's finding a connector who knows people and having them connect you to those people. So connectors, numerous people, they purchased investment properties and referred their friends to do so likewise. Steve was looking for a property for commercial purposes for his business and purchased a 12-acre horse farm in the country that could be used for that purpose, as well as providing living quarters for some of his workers. So it goes into the story, and I sprinkle into the story some wonderful stories about clients And I trace the development of that client through the life. And this takes us to client management, which is a really important factor. Okay. Now, I would say to a realtor, if you know 200 people, if you just sit down and listed 200 people that you know, and if you identified that 20 of those 200 people were P1 prospects, then you should have an account plan on those 20 people. And an account plan is, what is AJ looking for? What is AJ's future? Where can I help AJ and his family and his friends? Who does AJ know? How can he connect me to them? What can I do? So let me give you a quick story to demonstrate this, okay? The client was a very successful businessman from New York who moved to the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And he had been involved in politics in New York, okay? When he got here, I helped him purchase a home. I helped him purchase other property. And at one point, he decided to run for school board in our area, in our city. And he asked me to help him with his campaign. And I gave him ideas and consulted with him on how to run his campaign. Okay. And I did this, of course, at no charge. He was a very good client. Now, he got to the point where he was going to have a launch party for his campaign at his home. And he invited me to that launch party. And during the launch party, he announced to his closest friends and associates that were supporting him in this campaign that I was his realtor, that I had helped him and his family with several transactions, and that I was also assisting him in running and doing his campaign. What was the value of that meeting? Significant value. Because he said this to me, I became a very important person to him. And he, with all of his very important people that were in his home, saw that I was a very important person to him. And that transferred my power and my abilities to those people. And as a result, I got a lot of different business opportunities. So that's an example of working with a client and building relationships. So the client hierarchy identifies who are the most important people in your life, most likely to be successful in your life. The client management program tells you how to develop and manage and work with those people. And the client account plan tells you what specifically that person might want, like a home with a room for art that I took you back to earlier. And I realized in working with his account plan that I had never addressed that need. And that was a very important psychological need that caused him to result in me doing several transactions. But most importantly, what? Making him happy. And he's going to always come back to me if he wants to do something, because he knows my goal is to help him be successful.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So in a nutshell, what is the key message that you want the readers of your book to take away with them?
I think the key concept is this, that any one of your audience and the reader will have skills and talents, but they don't have skills in business planning. Maybe they might not have skills in technology. They might not have skills in finance. They might not have skills in writing a marketing plan. They might not have ever done client management programs. They might not have ever done, there's so many different disciplines. And so the fundamental concept is this book tries to explain and does a good job of explaining why you cannot be expert in everything, and that you must have resources and people, and resources and people requires money. And that means you must be successful, not later, but now. You must create revenue. And in order to create revenue, you must choose the right people to approach. And if you choose the wrong people to approach, you spend money on tactical plans targeting the wrong audience, and then you run up and you run out of your money that you have, and then you have to quit and leave. Don't make that mistake. Have a business model. Have a business model that's a clear picture of what you want to do, how the client will benefit, what you hope to accomplish, okay? And the business model in this book is quite specific. The business model goes into not only primary business strategies, but what is the benefit that the client will receive by working with you and knowing you. And that chapter is worth a lot of money because that chapter shows you how to build a business model based upon client benefit, primary strategies, and how you're going to spend money. Resource allocation is a very important part of the whole book. And that is when you know who your target audience is, when you know who are your P1 clients, and when you have an account plan for that person, then you target your resources on reaching those people. And it may only be 25 people, not 200. And those 25 people are most likely to produce revenue for you that will allow you to capture and use other resources to help you build your business.
Absolutely. So, any future book that is in the pipeline, Sonny?
Actually, I've got one in planning now. I'm not very far along with it. I have just begun the picture building of what the book is going to look like, but it has to do with marketing. It has to do with spending dollars on marketing that reach the actual client that you're trying to target. And that book is probably a 2-year development project. I have also thought about writing a fiction book because as I tell the stories of my clients in this book, it's so much fun because when I see what we accomplished together, one of my clients did 250,000 square feet of office space over a period of 16 years. And that resulted in over $2 million of commissions to me. Most importantly, he had a thriving, highly successful business. And he sold that business and made a lot of money.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Unfortunately, AJ, the day that he sold the business was one of the worst days of my life. Because that meant that my client was going to be going away. He retired. Still friends, but he retired.
Absolutely. There's so many stories to get from you in the future, Sonny. A lot of wisdom, a lot of things. So for those people who would want to connect with you, learn more about real estate, learn more about how to be a good real estate agent, how not to turn into a dinosaur, and to learn from your book, what's the best way for them to do so, Sonny?
Yeah, there aren't many dinosaurs around, original dinosaurs, but there's certainly a lot of dinosaurs running around in the world, and you don't want to be one of them because that will mean that you're going to be extinct someday. My channel, Sonny Moyers Real Estate channel on YouTube, is one place, and that's AREP, Architecture Real Estate Practice, AREP 2023. That's the year the book was published. My real estate website is sonnymoyers.com. My book website, which is real important, realestatebook.org, O-R-G, realestatebook.org. And in there, they can get either the hardback version, although shipping it worldwide is difficult, but we can try. And the easiest thing is the EPUB, which is under $20. And you can buy either one of them at my website there. And then you can always Google Sonny Moyers. I have thanks to you and other wonderful podcasters like you, I have over 28 hours of podcast on the internet, on YouTube and other platforms, but over 28 hours of teachings of what I've done in a number of different areas, interpersonal communication, psychology, and all that. So they can reach me. And if they just simply Google Sonny R. Moyers, Realtor Dallas, they'll see all kinds of references to me and they'll be able to reach me. And of course, they can always send me an email, sonny@sonnymoyers.com. But most importantly, AJ, I hope that I have helped your audience. I hope that the people who are listening will benefit from this discussion. And I hope that they will take the time to really delve into how to build a business model and don't go out there and start spending the very important resources that they have. Everybody has scarcity of resources, even Amazon. Everybody has scarcity of resources. And so if you spend your resources chasing something that's not going to result in benefit, value, and revenues, you will probably fail in the business endeavor that you're trying. I don't want that to happen. I don't want people to fail. I've reached a point in my life where my goal is helping other people be successful. Okay? So, and I hope I can help you. If you would like to do another interview, I'd love to meet with you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the Author's Voice with KJ. Thank you so
Thank you
much
so much.
indeed for joining us.
Bye-bye.